I'm loving. I've got my sweater. I love the sweater weather,
Oh yeah,
and and my football shirt. I love this season. Seasons of life. This is one of my favorites.
same.
Hi, I'm Julie.
And I'm Caleb. Welcome to Nursing You, the podcast where we redefine nursing in today's healthcare landscape. Join Julie and I as we step outside the box on an unconventional healing journey.
Together, we're diving deep into the heart of nursing, exploring the intricate relationships between caregivers and patients with sincerity and depth.
Our mission is to create an open and collaborative experience where learning is expansive and fun.
From the psychological impacts of nursing to the larger implications on the healthcare system, we're sparking conversations that lead to healing and innovation.
We have serious experience and we won't pull our punches, but we'll also weave in some humor along the way because we all know laughter is often the best medicine.
It is, and we won't shy away from any topic, taboo or not. From violence and drugs to family and love, we're tackling it all.
Our nursing knowledge is our base, but we will be bringing insights from philosophy, religion, science, and art to deepen our understanding of the human experience.
So whether you're a nurse, a healthcare professional, or just someone curious about the world of caregiving, this podcast is for you.
One last thing, a quick disclaimer before we dive in. While we're both registered nurses, nothing we discuss here should be taken as medical advice. Always consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider for any medical concerns you may have. The views expressed here are our own and don't necessarily reflect those of our employers or licensing bodies.
So let's get started on this journey together. Welcome to Nursing You, where every conversation leads to a healthier world.
Do you think that's connected to kind of the introspective nature of caregiving, like the giving, like the outward expression of giving care all the time, like pushes us inside, like I don't know. I think summer was always my favorite season as a child because I got to go outside and do things, and there was just so much freedom. And as I've gotten to be an adult, fall, like where I get to go inside and no one can complain that I'm hiding in my, domicile or whatever.
We do.
You know,
we drink pumpkin spice coffee, but I also feel like it's a very transitional season.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the heat of the summer and then the bitterness of the winter. I love summer because
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved having my kids off during summer. And so I think that, but now they're not little anymore and some of them don't even live at home. So it's a little bit different, and when you work full time, like summer really isn't summer. It's the same.
Right.
It's just hot.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
But there's something about fall and it is a transition into the hibernation. And
Mm-hmm.
the more I learn, I'm not really studying per se astrology, but the more you think about just the transitions of the planets and the moon and some of the higher thought of how things make the world go round, it talks about the seasons and how purposeful they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that we get away from that. We think fall is fall, y'all, and pumpkin spice coffee and Halloween, but if we kind of went back to what it means to transition from the summer into the hibernation of the winter, and if we would abide to that more like deeply, maybe it would have different effects, or it might be more relevant, or we would be able to explain it more. But I feel like there's something about that. And I think too, as you age.
Yeah. I mean, you said like one of the key words for me, which is meaning. What does it mean to transition from this to that? And meaning is I've read a lot about it on my healing journey. And I think that's part of why I'm so fascinated with the Enlightenment period and understanding how science came to be what it is today. Because at the end of the day, the scientific method is really, it is just that. It's a method for discovering the truth of our material world. And so what that has created is almost, I mean, in a lot of ways, and I think this is part of what we're talking about in this podcast, is kind of the viewing the body as a biological machine. It's mechanistic. So much of the interventions that we do are mechanistic interventions, and what it cultivates is this cultural sense of, I'm just a cog in this wheel.
Yeah.
It doesn't effing mean anything. And so when I look at the kind of phenomenon of that deep yearning for meaning, and I see when I see the deep yearning for meaning, and then I see this phenomenon of so many people reaching out to the stars, like they're hungry for something to mean something. And I'm definitely not saying that there's nothing to the stars or the planets or any of that thing. I mean, I've spent a considerable amount of time thinking about this, that, our planets are out there, and, we know through quantum physics that dark matter has space. And I remember one night I was standing out looking up at the stars. I was working in the middle of the night in my wood shop and looking up there, and I'm looking at these stars and I'm going, all that darkness has mass. And science says that we're spinning in that mass. And if you've ever heard your brakes go out, you hear that spinning and it's wow, 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 it makes terrible noise. So I was kind of connecting that idea to these spinning orbs, these giant planets spinning around in the sky, and that they're spinning in mass, and that it's really all the way around, circumferential in every direction. It's omnidirectional. There's omnidirectional vibrational frequency that's happening with these planets spinning in dark matter. So all these vibrations are coming off these planets, and this planet's over here and this planet's over here, and that omnidirectional emission of frequency, like, just obviously causes those frequencies to interlace. And then you have all these dynamic planets in all these different directions, and they are all interlacing, creating a very unique vibrational pattern that it just makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. And so when a baby's born, it never made sense to me that, why isn't it at conception that the baby is having its astrology thing happening? And it hit me that the womb is protective. Mm-hmm. So the child is incubating in there, and the mother's frequency is protecting the child. When the child comes out, that whatever the planets are out there doing is imprinting on the child and creating a unique vibrational pattern for that child's life. Mm-hmm. And none are the same. So literally the song of the universe is imprinted on that child. I mean, this is, I mean, I can't prove any of this. It's just it's just,
but
it's purely anecdotal.
What you're saying is it gives things meaning, which, at the stage where we're at, it feels like it's necessary.
Well, I would say what the ultimate conclusion of that thought is that it's no different than the mechanistic function that we're performing down here. That these planets are up, like, those planets didn't invent themselves. Right. So there has to be something beyond that. The stars can't be it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there has to be more. And I, I've read a lot about it from a religious perspective, and I think that is really the root. Like, I think there's an element of it that is attached to the idea that if I understand what's happening out there, then I can manipulate my world down here, which is really, I think beyond our capacity. Yeah. And that doing that it's kind of like, part of the, as I study enlightenment, I study how we are where we are, and the lack of meaning, that with the lack of meaning has also brought in a lack of wonder.
Mhm.
that because it doesn't mean anything, I have to search for the meaning, which necessarily like shifts how you think about everything, because there's no you're I mean, there is a discovery process, but I think I think because you're trying to take control, you lose the ability to be open to the mystery of life.